used to say a word about its existence. And yet, this major full prostate health and size restoring discovery is too important to be kept buried. So if you're here, put your phone on silent, close the door, and make sure you watch every second of this video. Because in just 3 minutes from now, you'll know exactly what's making your prostate abilities decline, whether you realize it or not, how to stop it, and how to restore the perfect urine flow and increase libido levels Mother Nature gives. Hi, my name is Jack Parker. If you or one of your loved ones have been struggling with peeing or getting tired of nightly trips to the bathroom that interrupt your sleep, leaving you exhausted in the morning, or noticing you or them haven't had a fully empty bladder for a long time and are afraid that one day you might be forced to wear diapers, not to make a fool of yourself, then today your world is about to change forever. Because you're moments away from a scientifically proven all-natural method that can finally improve and restore 100% of your prostate health and functions and give you back full control of your bladder to pee like a power hose, enjoying a steady urine flow whenever you want with absolutely no surreal efforts, expensive drugs, or crazy expensive surgeries, and without having to face that dismissive look of your doctors ever again. So sit tight, because the answers I'm going to reveal in less than 2 minutes from now will change everything you ever thought was true about deteriorating prostate. Your doctor is dead wrong. The real reason why your or your loved one's prostates are slowly growing and preventing you or them from living the lives you deserve is not normal, even though it's a condition that has affected so many innocent men, even at young ages. It has zero to do with hereditary genes, fatigue, your immune system, or age. No, the problem goes much deeper. The problem, as recent clinical evidence shows, backed by a dozen emerging reports, some even published in the Harvard Medical School's journal, is an imbalance of free radicals and antioxidants in the body, which slowly but surely leads to cell and tissue damage, wreaking havoc in your prostate and on your overall cognitive health, while slowly lowering your ability to fight diseases. Have you ever wondered why every single year 200,000 American men start to suffer from BPH, urinary and kidney infections, or ED, meaning their prostate functions are starting to decline? 30, 40, 60-year-olds, people that were simply abandoned by modern medicine. And yet there are men even in their late 90s who pee like a power hose, enjoying a steady urine flow. The answer is not for the weak of heart. But once you learn it, it will give you the key to finally stop this debilitating disease and regain your fully functional prostate and bladder. Picture the day when you need to take a 3-hour flight and you don't need to second think about the embarrassing moments you would be spending in the bathroom, being looked at by every passenger in the airplane who wants to use the toilet. Never again having to worry about health complications like urinary tract infections, painful bladder stones, aggressive kidney diseases, or ending up in diapers, or worse, about being drenched in public in a pool of urine at any moment. Never again having to choose closed toilets over urinals, just because you're too ashamed to pee next to other men who don't have any such problems. Never again having to feel the pressure when you're trying to be intimate with your wife, that annoying thought in the back of your mind that you won't be able to perform and feel the disappointment or even pity in her eyes. Instead, you'll be a free man who lives a beautiful, vivid life and enjoys every single moment of it, day and night, just like millions of other men like you who even in their late 90s still have a constant and steady urine flow. I know how shocking this sounds right now. Believe me, I truly do. After all, you've heard a gazillion different stories about your prostate over the years, and probably a lot of BS too. Your own doctor has probably sold you a lot of false or outdated information. Sure, they always had the best intentions in mind and were always happy to write you that prescription for new, right? Even though your prostate was slowly failing you every day. I say to you, no more of this. And no matter where you are, whether your prostate illness is caused by external or internal factors, like incorrect elimination, you have a duty to yourself to stay focused right here on this page. Because today, for the first time, your prostate and your whole body, along with every other aspect of your life, are guaranteed to change for the better. I promise. You'll shrink your prostate and gain control over your bladder ultra fast while improving your quality of sleep and also boost your libido. You'll add years of good sex, restful sleep, and unlimited freedom to your life with this 100% natural, safe, and effective trick that has no side effects, but delivers life-changing results. This scientifically proven method that you're about to discover is designed to specifically target the real root cause of prostate deterioration by reactivating your natural protection mechanism that affects your prostate cells, instead of letting them systematically break. All these benefits come along with substantial improvements in your vitality, sex drive, and endurance way beyond the very best days of your youth, and health benefits guaranteed to add years or even decades to your life. So listen up, because time flies fast. The global prostate recovery industry is worth $150 billion, and they're definitely not planning to stop their evil expansion. Absolutely not. The question is, what are you ready to do about it? The real question is, are you going to let them prey on you for the rest of your life while your worst nightmare becomes reality? I really hope not, because what I have to share today is guaranteed to save your prostate and finally give you happiness and peace of mind. But please don't take my word for granted. Every day my phone gets flooded with phone calls, texts, emails, WhatsApp messages, and they all say the same thing, that this program is guaranteed to work for any man out there. So let's get to it then. It's about time you are set free from the constant pressure you've been experiencing for too long. Like I said, I'm Jack Parker. Ever since I graduated from Harvard University, I only had one goal in mind: to research, help, and find a solution for people in need, and the domain I chose was urology. During my long career, I've worked with many prestigious doctors, professionals, and experts in their fields. People who've shared my dream and others who were too caught up in their classic treatment methods and didn't agree with my alternative way of thinking. I've seen and treated every single aspect related to prostate deterioration and enlargement, and I tried to help as many people as I could. I was also honored to have been part of an elite team of researchers and medical experts that discovered some of the most incredible breakthroughs for these terrible conditions. In my over 30 years of experience, I have helped over 8,300 Americans improve and ameliorate their prostate problems. I wanted to prove to myself and the entire medical community that prostate deterioration and enlargement can be stopped, and it's not a life sentence. I wanted to prove to them all that prostate cell degradation and enhancement can be stopped. Even though every time I dared to mention this to one of my senior colleagues, they would laugh me out of the room, I never stopped. But before I go on, you should know why 99% of the doctors consider prostate enlargement normal, a condition that comes with age, they claim, even though it's affecting more and more of our younger population every day. And sure, to some extent, they are right. Over 14 million men in U.S. suffer from some form of prostate problem. More than 80% of our senior population experiences some kind of prostate problem at some point. And this number is expected to significantly increase over the next decade. Now, this may seem commonplace, as all the doctors you'll go to will tell you, but there is no way it is normal, as you'll see in just a couple minutes. Now, if you or your loved one or your loved ones started going to the bathroom too often, or you've been spending more time over the water closet than in your bed, you know how vicious this disease can be. It affects every single aspect of your life, including your relationships. First, there are small details you tend to miss, like not having a steady urine flow and peeing, which you don't necessarily pay attention to. Then you somehow need to use the toilet more often, and you never feel you can fully empty your bladder, no matter how hard you try. You're not yourself anymore. You always feel a constant pressure in the back of your mind. You can't be as good of a father or husband as you used to. You constantly see other people's judgmental looks, but they don't know how difficult this can be sometimes. And by the time you know it, the doctor has given you prescription for prostate enlargement pills that have no effect. You keep wondering, when will all this stop? You feel cursed. And for a good reason. Even with all these solutions that come from state-of-the-art techniques, men are drowning in painful hopelessness, and no one seems to care to find a long-lasting solution. There are 14 million men traumatized from BPH in the U.S. alone, and yet they are forced to accept a tormenting and unfortunate reality. No major breakthrough treatment, no radical research. People have been convinced that prostate problems are unavoidable and incurable, and no complicated surgery can help them get over it. Even surgeons and scientists are sunk in stagnation. They prescribe you the same pills and methods and propose staggeringly expensive treatments as the sole fix, with no results. I'm sure you know and have been through all these things already. Being exhausted from the nightly trips to the bathroom and always calculating your holidays have been a pain, and, well, you know where. So you can constantly try to hold it in for as long as you can, or when you get the chance to get it all out in order to get over awkward situations or not to make a fool out of yourself. And you can't live with the everyday burden of constantly feeling the need to pee or not being able to perform in bed, not to reach the unwanted stage of diapers, or the thought of being too late one night and wetting the bed like a baby. Or worse, ending up with a puddle of pee in your clothes in public with everyone laughing at you. Now, if any of this rings true for you, you should know one thing. This is not your fault. It really isn't. I've been prescribing prostate pills my entire life because that's what conventional medicine has taught me. I used all the methods available to improve men's prostate health. I was intimately familiar with them all. But all it took was one incident alone to bring my knowledge about prostate healing upside down. So stick with me for a couple more minutes, because I'll unveil the story of how I accidentally stumbled across what could be considered the most important scientific discovery of modern medicine. The true key solution that any man, no matter his age or background, can use to quickly and completely restore their perfect prostate, urinary, and sexual functions. You see, I have seen countless men that came to me to help them, lost in sadness and panic for their slow but certain prostate deterioration, willing to spend every single penny of theirs to get rid of this debilitating disease. Men that felt cursed and angry that their whole life has suddenly become a shambles and they couldn't do a single thing about it. Men that were absolutely innocent and deserved more than this disastrous fate. And yet they were coming through my office door every single day, ashamed and devastated, imploring me to save their prostate, bladder, urinary functions, and love life. Witnessing so many heartrending cases made me feel sorry for them, and yet I knew deep down that no longer feeling like a real man was probably the most difficult enemy to be fought with. I always thought this was the way things worked, and that it might even happen to me one day, too. That the only way to treat this pressing issue was to prescribe a pill or surgery. After all, if scientists had found a better solution by now, we would know about it already, right? Well, I couldn't be more wrong. Because one morning, as I was heading to the hospital, I got a call from another hospital telling me my 67-year-old father was taken to the ER because they found him unconscious on the kitchen floor. Panicked, I rushed over there, and when I reached the hospital, the nurse told me my father was in the operating room. I knew he had prostate problems for years, but I always managed to keep it under control. She told me he barely called the ambulance before fainting with extreme pain in his abdomen and lower back. I immediately thought of the worst, and the nurse confirmed he was on the verge of sepsis because of a urinary tract infection that led to bladder problems. Sepsis is the body's overwhelming and life-threatening response to infection that can lead to tissue damage, organ failure, and death. In other words, my father's body had an overactive and toxic response to an infection that started from the bladder. Sepsis could lead to septic shock, which meant my father could have died during surgery. After several never-ending hours of surgery, the doctor came and told me he saved my father. He explained how his enlarged prostate led to a urinary tract infection that got complicated and pushed him on the verge of sepsis, and all of that with no signs at all. A couple of days later, he woke up and I managed to transfer him to my hospital to take care of him. So I did some investigations of my own. When the results came in, my heart was broken into scattered pieces. His prostate was at an advanced degree of degradation and swollen like few I had seen. It was so bad, I was surprised something like this hadn't happened sooner. Ashamed because he didn't tell me earlier, he told me it started with him going to the bathroom more often than he used to, then waking up in the middle of the night to empty his bladder. But nothing out of the ordinary. It happens to all of us at one point. Then he noticed his flow wasn't as steady and powerful as it used to be. He had an interrupted urine flow, and he needed frequent exhausting bathroom trips during the night and felt he could never truly empty his bladder. It also took him way too long, so long that from one point, he started using closed toilets and gave up urinals just because he was too ashamed to pee next to other men. He told me how one time when he was walking, he felt a warm sensation in his pants, and when he looked down, he saw the puddle. It was the most embarrassing moment of his life. Standing there with everyone looking at him, laughing. Towards the end of the discussion, blushing like a tomato, he even told me about the problems in the bedroom. I couldn't believe my ears. How could that happen to my own father when his son worked in this exact domain? I was baffled. How could I not see the signs? Being a specialist in this field, I had to do something. The only possible reason I could find, after dozens of lab tests, was that his age was to blame. It was a diagnosis I had given hundreds, maybe thousands of times to other patients, and the only thing I could do was to prescribe some medication that would barely slow the degradation process. After getting him back on his feet, he still had problems. I was beginning to get desperate. I felt powerless because there was nothing I could do to protect the one I cared for most, and I simply felt furious, outraged about the fact that science, as advanced as it got, couldn't help my father live his life as he deserved to. I was furious that he was completely dependent on scientific discoveries he might not make it to try out, and furious about the fact that for so many years, after endless trying, I couldn't find a solution for a problem almost every man will be facing sooner or later. As time went by, I realized my father's health wasn't improving at all. He had another aggressive episode when he didn't pee for 48 hours straight. Luckily, he was still admitted, but the only way to release the liquid was to insert a catheter into his manhood and for him to walk around with a pee bag strapped to his ankle. Moreover, after a while, because of his weakened immune system, he had complications and swelling and was in horrendous pain because the tube had wreaked havoc on the insides of his penis. The state he was in was ripping me apart, and yet I knew this wasn't going to go away by magic. I knew that prostate enlargement issue was a hard nut to crack. It had taken me over 2 decades to understand this disease and its behavior, and I must say, it's truly one of the trickiest that I've ever seen. The decline and enlargement of the prostate cells appears out of nowhere. It may come with very subtle and mild symptoms that you may overlook. As time passes, it becomes worse, ruining every day-to-day activity you can imagine. For example, if you suffer from BPH, enlarged prostate, you will start overusing your bladder and pelvic muscles to compensate for the inability to properly use it. It will be very difficult for you to fully empty your bladder. Even if you try and force yourself, you will never be able to feel that relaxing sensation of not having to pee. Plus, you will become extremely vulnerable to all types of side effects, like urinary tract infections and other infections related to the urinary system, not to mention bladder stones, bladder damage, or kidney problems. And if left unchecked, it can lead to life-threatening situations such as acute kidney failure that turns into sepsis, like my father experienced. And the worst part is, it can happen even if you have an athlete's body. It doesn't matter how good the rest of your health is, prostate degradation and enlargement makes no exceptions. It is bound to appear regardless of what you do. Now imagine how I felt knowing all this information with my father standing next to me for so many years, going through hell, reaching the moment on the verge of dying. Imagine how I felt when I realized that the morning I said goodbye to him could have been the very last time I saw him alive. My heart ached for him, and what puzzled me was how on earth his prostate issues got so bad at such a rapid pace with no signs at all. Because even though he didn't tell me about the problems, he must have had issues for some time. I stayed late night after night, thinking about this pressing matter and about other men that came to me for help over the years. It was truly haunting me. Why do some men have perfect prostates and urinary systems at advanced ages, while members of their family suffer from complex prostate problems, even at young ages, yet others with no family history suffer from BPH or erectile dysfunction so quickly at young ages? And more important, if science claims BPH is a terrible disease you cannot avoid and it comes with age, why do some men as old as 70 or 80 not have a single sign of prostate problems and pee like racing horses? It just doesn't add up. There had to be something that did not affect prostate and kept its working functions 100% while not affecting the urinary system. I just wasn't able to see it. But as they say, life works in mysterious ways. My father's condition wasn't getting any better, so I had to keep him admitted. And while taking care of him, I met a medical consultant on a 4-week transfer from Galapagos Islands to teach about his medical practices at home. A highly intelligent man, he was one of the friendliest doctors I had ever met, with a great sense of humor, considering English was his second language. To my luck, we both worked in the same medical branch. And it's my strong belief God brought him into my life to make a miracle, and you'll find out why in a minute. He told me he was a published author and was constantly interviewed by national television, both in U.S. and in Galapagos Islands. I told him about my father's issue, and he wanted to know if he could help me. He had been working from overseas for over a decade for a big pharma conglomerate whose annual revenue is well over $1 billion, so funds weren't an issue, as was my case. You see, besides being an extremely nice, empathetic, and humble person, Dr. Elisha was also a very good doctor. During his career, he dealt with thousands of extreme and severe cases of prostate problems, like BPH or erectile dysfunction, helping each and every one of his patients as much as he could. His work, in every sense of the word, was impeccable. Given the common calling we had, we became close friends over that period. He told me all about his life in his home country of Galapagos Islands, the magical islands off the coast of South America, and that's where the solution was. Did you know it's the most diverse and unique ecosystem in the world? And it's home to plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth. Over 90% of all animals and plants in Galapagos Islands are unique to the island. In fact, many remedies and medicines for blood sugar, heart, and pain, like aspirin and metformin, derive from exotic Galapagos plants, such as the lava cactus, Galapagos begonia, or the endangered Darwin's daisy. And as he was telling me the beauty of his home, he told me about one of his dear patients from US who had similar prostate problems, like so many. He told me how he started without being able to fully empty his bladder sometimes, then slowly needing to pee during the night, leading up to having a catheter inserted to be able to release the urine, not to reach infection. So the last night before my father got discharged, I asked him, I begged him if he knew anything at all to help my father where a decade of American studies had failed. Jack, my friend, I'm glad you asked me. It's well known, and I'm sure you too have found this over your career, that if anyone experiences sudden and unexplained bladder failure from the prostate as your father did, the reason lies in the infection caused by the prostate enlargement because of the prostate tissue and cells. But if conventional medicine hasn't been able to solve this lifelong problem, it's because it's been looking at the whole issue from the wrong angle. I've looked over your father's lab tests, and as I suspected, the problem is the prostate cells. But don't worry, I have the answer for you. I've treated a patient just like your father. First, let me explain. Your father's prostate's lab results look normal with no apparent damage. But what modern medicine can't figure out is what causes benign prostate enlargement, meaning they don't know why it's growing, affecting your father's urine flow and quality of sleep, which means he can't be socially functional and cannot live his life the way it's meant to be lived. On the other hand, a normal prostate means you will have the power to take full control of your bladder and even support your kidneys to eliminate infections and stones. The reason why no one could figure out how to stop the deterioration of the prostate cells, causing them to enlarge, was because they didn't go further in the organism. The place where these cells start decreasing is not the prostate itself. In fact, it's inside our guts. Well, it starts with the affected cells within the prostate, but this is triggered by the dangerous process that happens in our guts. Have you ever struggled to pee for a few seconds before you can actually let the urine out and you feel like it's there but you actually can't? That means the urine tract isn't fully functional and can't let the liquid flow naturally. Believe me, it's not your fault. You simply don't have the right chemicals in your body to support the path. As time goes by and we don't look after this path, things go from bad to worse. Something the prostate recovery pills companies won't tell you and your American doctor doesn't know is that without these chemicals, you will never be able to function at 100%, and your prostate is slowly degrading. And the so-called miracle pills? Well, they only lower these chemicals, and prostate cells simply grow with no control until the urinary tract is more and more strangled. And once it gets fully blocked, your bladder takes all the damage. And this is why I don't believe in conventional pills for prostate issues. Men all over the world are desperately taking more and more such pills, more than ever, and studies have shown prostate health has actually lowered dramatically over the past years, or more, as society has been evolving. And this problem doesn't necessarily happen with age. This year, they reported the U.S. men population who suffers from some kind of prostate problem is the highest they've ever seen. So not surprising, the prostate healing industry is worth over $80 billion. It's a big business now. I was shocked, but Dr. Elijah was absolutely right. I could imagine the greedy prostate pill industry CEOs laughing as they cash their multi-million-dollar bonus checks at the expense of men like you and I, knowing their solutions are never going to work. It made me sick. So if you thought that your age or lifestyle caused your prostate to decay and enlarge, or if you thought that you didn't manage to take good care of your body, think again. I know this because in just 1 minute I will reveal to you the real little-known cause of declining prostate functions, as proven by clinical studies, as well as a simple 3-second morning trigger you could do right now to speedily fight the prostate cell degradation. So, what causes prostate cells to grow uncontrollably, Doc? That's what I asked him. In Dr. Elijah's words, the prostate cell is attacked and your prostate is slowly damaged by microbes. These microbes that originate from the gut are able to pass through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream, and from there get straight inside your prostate, where they start their vicious aggression on it. You see, this infection is sneaky, though. It doesn't show signs until it's too late, as it did for my father, and the cells are already damaged, ultimately leading to prostate enlargement that consequently leads to bladder infection and other complications. But in fact, it is triggered by a variety of microbes inside your guts, such as Aspergillus, Fusarium, Candida, Covularia, Penicillium, Rhizopus, Mucor, too many to be fought individually. They are literally everywhere around us, from water, plants, and trees, to even starchy foods like bread and potatoes. It's impossible to avoid them, and you're constantly exposed to them no matter where you live, your age, or your body's immune system. All of these travel from your guts through your bloodstream to your prostate, attacking it and facilitating its growth. But why do only some men get to experience the negative effects of this debilitating infestation? The truth is, it eventually affects anyone sooner or later. The only key reason that makes the difference is the capability of the gut to flush them out. It's the reason why some of our senior folks have been rapidly losing their urinary and sexual capability, because their immune system is weakened as they age. That's why most men start having prostate problems more around their 50s, even though they haven't had such episodes all of their lives. Due to the thinness of your intestine wall, which is designed to absorb nutrients, they are able to bypass the digestion process and move further into the body, eventually reaching the prostate as being the coziest place they could rest in. Now, the microbes aren't all that smart, but they are specific. So they go directly to your prostate and attach themselves to the cells. And this explains perfectly why you may get hit by prostate enlargement at any age and any moment in life. It's like an avalanche, where you have no idea it comes your way, and it finally hijacks your body. Yes, that's what it does. It literally takes over your prostate cells, making them grow, and does not go away no matter the medication you use. Now, this was actually confirmed by a published research in the Journal of Urology almost 10 years ago, and Dr. Elijah has found this in his own research too. In fact, since then, many other peer-reviewed studies have proven the same thing, that the real root cause of prostate cell deterioration and enlargement is not found inside your prostate, but inside your gut. In fact, the problem goes even further. Another study published in the American Urological Association has also proven that bad gut microbes are actually responsible for many other diseases and organs degradation in our body, but nobody pays attention to it. And yet, prostate-reducing pill sales are holding high and strong every year. Everything I heard blew my mind. So the only thing that we have to do is stop these microbes from entering the bloodstream and attacking the prostate. Then the prostate would have the power to recover and shrink, improving urinary flow, bladder efficiency, sexual performances, etc., I said to Dr. Elijah. Jack, look at me. The 55-year-old patient I was telling you about recovered 100%, and he's better than ever. He's peeing like a racehorse, and his love life is like he's in his teens again. And I've been testing him every 6 months. And his prostate and whole urinary system are absolutely perfect. I found the way, he replied passionately. I was intrigued, and then he continued. For us to flush out this poison, we have to safely introduce certain chemicals inside the blood cells which can attack those parasites. Once these toxic parasites stop invading the human organism, the siege on the prostate disappears in no time, and then the prostate gets 100% restored, from the size of a lemon to the size of a walnut or a golf ball, as it should be. And then Dr. Eliza showed me how after 7 years of long, expensive research and countless lab tests, he finally managed to find the right combination of natural ingredients, most of them originating from Galapagos Islands, that helped his patient break free from the prostate enlargement nightmare and completely erase this disease. Have you tried to publish your findings? I asked him. Of course I did. I went to my former employer, showed them the lab results. All my 7 years of research, and after what I think was the longest presentation I ever had. You know what they asked me? They said, all right, but how do we make money off this if men only have to use it once? The next day, I submitted my resignation. And I have lived every day since, thinking this solution will never make it to the public eye. They won't let me. But I also thought that I was not alone against this enemy. We are in this together. Let's do it, Jack. Here it is. See it for yourself. There it was, on the next page of his research book. All the ingredients and specific quantities he'd used to recover 100% of his patient's prostate and urinary functions and to shrink it to normal size. Since there are so many microbes out there and it's literally impossible to fight them all individually, this formula was meant to flush them all out. It took him 7 years and hundreds of different combinations to reach the exact mix that brought back John the way his family always knew him. It was incredible. We have to put this to a larger scale test immediately, I said to my new friend. Why do you think I came to you? He replied. So my father was going to be the second guinea pig. So Dr. Elisha and I gave him the formula and made sure he would follow the program according to his lab test results. I was hoping and praying my father would see the same results as Dr. Elisha's patient. My father's condition seemed to get worse on top of everything else. Because of his aggravating condition, I was constantly checking on him to see the results, but Dr. Elisha told me to wait, as it would take a while. After a few days, the thought of giving up crossed my mind since I didn't see any improvements. But something told me to keep on trying, and I convinced myself to continue just for a little longer. And another few days passed, and still no results. The future looked bleak. Then one cold morning, my father woke up as he usually did, and he started telling me he only had to get out of bed during the night and pee only once, compared to the 4 or 5 times he usually did. He almost slept like a baby. He hadn't done that in years, he told me. We were excited, but we decided to wait a few more days. 2 weeks later, we evaluated him again. I was in shock. Now, let me tell you, he had a state of well-being I had never seen in anyone since, forever. It was single-handedly the most incredible transformation I have ever seen in my life. I called Dr. Elisha to give him the good news. Then we took my father for tests to see if there were any traces of prostate reduction. The result? His prostate was already shrunk by more than 70%. My father had finally broken free from the prostate prison that kept him captive. He started telling us how, besides no longer having to pee all the time, he was happy not to waste countless hours just sitting in the toilet, struggling to push out a few drops of pee. His depression and anxiety were reduced, no more moods. His zest for life finally came back, and he was starting to live the life he had always deserved once again. As I was talking with Dr. Elisha and told him I was beyond thrilled that our research has finally paid off, he warned me that the remedy was efficient for John and my father. But what about other men? We had to test the remedy on more volunteers in order to be 100% sure about its efficiency. So what we did was to post an ad online saying we're looking for volunteers. From young men who already had prostate problems to those with advanced clinically proven BPH, who had already been through at least one transurethral procedure, or worse, who needed diapers to go along with their days. Those countless individuals that were deceived and undergone by modern medicine. All of them had one thing in common. Prostate enlargement was ruining every aspect of their lives and the lives of their loved ones. In 2 weeks' time, we managed to gather over 380 volunteers ready to validate our theory. Now, I expected the remedy to be efficient, but I did not expect it to be that good. Within just a few weeks, 98% of the participants reported that they had experienced through-the-roof results regarding their urinary and prostate functions. While shrinking their prostates in record times, they also reported triple urine flows. They were in excellent spirits, and some even managed to pass kidney stones. They had no more bladder pain and were in full control of it. Within a few more weeks after that, 100% of the participants reported that they had fully recovered their bladder and prostate health, going from a bulging bladder and inability to pee by themselves to a 100% fully functional prostate. Men who had lost their love life stated their wives can't get enough of them with increased testosterone level, sperm count, and motility. It was absolutely stunning. And as an unforeseen side benefit, they all observed reduced anxiety and improved mood. Other benefits were normalized blood pressure, reduced risk of respiratory infections, improved digestion, stronger pelvic muscles, improved nutrient supply to your organs, better circulation and heart health, sharper vision and eye health. Repeated tests demonstrated no signs of prostate enlargement anymore. The subjects had no more urinary tract infections associated with BPH while gaining control over their bladders ultra-fast. They looked and felt 20 years younger. The men were full of assertive energy and confident, no longer captives of this debilitating disease. Each one of the participants had supercharged libido and stamina in just a few weeks. Even the most skeptical ones jumped out of their skin when they got back what they called their lost manhood. It was plain as day the remedy was working 100%. Dr. Elijah and myself were watching with utter excitement as our dream was being brought to life. All this pain had come to an end, and we had to make this available for everyone. So Dr. Elijah managed to pull some strings, and we found a small independent natural pharmaceutical company in Nevada. Next, we started looking for producers that only offer the purest ingredients. I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. It took us weeks until we found something reliable. You would be shocked if you'd know how ignorant most of these people are when it comes to the quality and purity of the raw materials they produce. We looked for ingredients on 3 continents. Dr. Elijah used all his connections to make sure we only got top-quality ingredients from certified and FDA-approved producers. The job was excruciating. We worked day and night to make sure each ingredient was mixed in the right quantities. But after a month of hard work, we finally did it. So we put everything in an easy-to-swallow capsule, to take 2 at once in the morning with a big glass of water. We called it Ultra Prosta Fix, the only 100% natural blend that targets the real cause of your prostate enhancement and replenishes the cells that dangerous microbes have been damaging without you even knowing, and helps your prostate shrink and recover 100% of your urinary tract problems and your prostate health. We only source the purest, highest quality ingredients for this formula and use the perfect combination of 18 carefully mixed plant extracts and vitamins into an easy-to-swallow capsule to take 2 at once in the morning. We only produce Ultra Prosta Fix in our FDA-approved facility, using the latest technology and equipment. Every capsule of Ultra Prosta Fix is non-GMO and safe. It does not require any restrictive diets or starving yourself. In fact, you can continue eating your favorite foods and enjoy the amazing benefits of this formula. Over a dozen independent labs across 2 continents have tested this program on 3,200 men from 6 countries to make sure that positive results weren't limited to only a select group of men. Lab tests have shown us that in order for this program to be efficient, all the ingredients have to be mixed only in these exact quantities and in this exact formula. Here's a short explanation on how these ingredients work and why they are so powerful. Step 1, your body absorbs these powerful nutrients. Once you've taken the first 2 capsules of Ultra Prosta Fix, the nutrient absorption process begins. This blend contains highly effective ingredients and vitamins sourced from specific places, like Galapagos Islands, Africa, Asia, Northern Europe, and even Earth's biggest rainforest in Brazil. All these nutrients are crucial for doing 2 things. First, they flush out the toxic microbes that have been causing damage to your prostate cells, making it grow. Second, they repair these broken cells. Since they are 100% natural and have been selected due to their purity, your body will immediately start absorbing them, and the prostate enlargement process will stop immediately. Step 2, the prostate cell degradation and enhancement stops. Once your body has absorbed all these powerful nutrients, the growing process stops. This is extremely crucial. In order for your body to have the power to repair the broken cells, nutrients needed for that need to be constantly fed to the cells. To achieve this, we picked a powerful combination of vitamins, such as vitamin E and B6. This amazing remedy will empower the prostate cells themselves and can start sending purifying signals through your bloodstream and guts. Step 3, once the chemical balance is restored, the prostate itself starts to shrink. Now pay attention, because here's where the incredible things start to happen. First, to help you fight the inflammation from your body, we had to carefully blend a proprietary mixture of 18 ingredients, including saw palmetto, which is made from the fruit of the Serenoa repens tree. The active component is found in the fruit of the American dwarf palm tree, and tests have showed that it treated enlarged prostate, improved urinary function, and even enhanced hair growth. In many studies, saw palmetto had amazing positive effects on urinary symptom scores and improved urine flow rate in BPH sufferers, where the prostate presses on the urethra. Second, we added Pygeum africanum. Pygeum comes from the bark of a tree native to Africa called Prunus africana. It contains chemicals that help shrink the prostate, and it relieves urinary problems by considerably improving urine flow rates while reducing nighttime urination. It's most commonly used for treating symptoms of enlarged prostate, BPH, but it's also used for fever, malaria, kidney disease, and many other conditions. Pygeum africanum also prevents tract infections and improves semen quality. Next on the list, Dr. Elijah and I made sure to add another powerful ingredient. The famous Annona muricata, commonly called soursop, is a small, erect, evergreen tropical fruit tree plant belonging to the family Annonacacea, growing 5 to 6 meters in height. The leaves of Annona muricata have been reported to contain several groups of substances collectively called Annonaceous acetogenins that shows outstanding effects in treating BPH, sexual problems, and tract infections. I mentioned how prostate is basically deprived of healthy nutrients that are not able to reach it. So we needed an effective ingredient to clear the pathways, remove inflammation, and nourish your prostate. And that is green tea leaves. Green tea is not only the second most popular beverage across the globe, but also a pleasant alternative to soft drinks and coffee. It contains potent polyphenols, catechins with anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic, and antioxidant properties. The substances it contains are effective in reducing the overproduction of cells common in BPH and in preventing the onset of prostatic enlargement. Other specific polyphenols found in green tea can treat the symptoms and eradicate various causes of BPH, making green tea invaluable for managing the condition alongside lifestyle changes, medications, and other interventions. Moreover, green tea contains antioxidants that reduce the levels of dihydrotestosterone, DHT, the hormone that promotes the growth of the prostate. A reduction in the levels of DHT lowers the risk of developing an enlarged prostate. The catechins in green tea regulate the secretion of DHT and PSA, promoting normal prostate size and volume, and in reducing the risk of enlarged prostate. Likewise, the catechins in green tea have demonstrated efficacy in relieving urinary symptoms, such as frequent urination, nighttime urination, and problems with urinary flow. Besides, the catechins in green tea can kill certain viruses and bacteria, reducing the risk of urinary tract infections that may occur in men with enlarged prostate. We also added an amazing plant, stinging nettle. Stinging nettle root is used widely to treat BPH. Studies in men have proven that stinging nettle, in combination with other herbs, especially saw palmetto, is effective at relieving symptoms such as reduced urinary flow, incomplete emptying of the bladder, post-urination dripping, and the constant urge to urinate. Studies prove that stinging nettle is comparable to finasteride, a medication commonly prescribed for BPH, in slowing the growth of certain prostate cells. It contains substances that affect hormones, including testosterone, and acts directly on prostate cells. And a total of 18 incredible ingredients, among which we added 2 vital vitamins, E and B6, mix perfectly to improve your gut microbiome, to shrink your prostate, and get your urinary flow back, and even improve libido, stamina, and help with erectile dysfunctions, and help you fight off the vicious inflammation from your body cells once and for all. No other known blend can reach the effectiveness of this prostate healing solution, and in just a few weeks, you'll finally be your old self again. With a normal-sized prostate, with a steady urine flow whenever you want, and a boosted libido, adding years of good sex, restful sleep, and unlimited freedom in your life. That's because this natural blend does one important thing. It gives you back your natural-born and deserved prostate functions and helps you regain your life back. It activates your body's natural protection mechanism, which shields your prostate cells, instead of letting them grow systematically and permanently. Besides all these, this amazing formula will guarantee for anyone taking it the ability to pee like Power Horse by taking full control of your bladder, and even support your kidneys to eliminate infections and stones. Now, you may have 2 questions at this point. How do I get my hands on Ultra Prosta Fix, and in what quantity should I take this supplement? You see, it's difficult for me to answer the first question. That's because most of the ingredients used to make Ultra Prosta Fix are extremely hard and time-consuming to source, which makes our ability to keep high stocks on hand almost impossible. Every man who has tested Ultra Prosta Fix and improved their cognitive functions is asking us for more bottles for themselves and for their families and friends. This makes our stock run out in days every time we get a new shipment. And you should know that we produce Ultra Prosta Fix in small batches, only which take up to 3 months to deliver. Which means that once we run out of stock, you'll have to wait another 3 months until you can get your hands on this formula. Then there's the big pharma army of angry lawyers who threaten to shut us down if we don't take this formula down. Now, since you're here, your product is reserved. But unfortunately, if you leave this page, we cannot guarantee supply when you come back. Now, before I tell you in what quantities you should take this supplement, here's something very important you should know. In order to make this formula work for you, you have to take into consideration to what degree your prostate has been affected and how long you've been carrying this issue. Based on a test we made with our partnering lab on over 3,200 men from 6 different countries, looking at the states prostates are affected, I must confess the results were shockingly bad. So when it comes to how much of Ultra Prosta Fix you should take, our safe response is, don't risk it. After seeing the results of over 93,600 men from all over the world, we recommend taking at least 3 bottles of Ultra Prosta Fix over a period of 90 days. And if you want to be completely safe, then we recommend taking at least 6 bottles or more. This will naturally boost the shrinking process, keeping your prostate at normal size for the rest of your days. Tens of thousands of men have confidently used Ultra Prosta Fix with mind-blowing results. They now enjoy the new life that has been given to them. They live a happy, full life where they don't have to constantly worry about health complications like tract infections, painful bladder stones, aggressive kidney diseases, or ending up in diapers. They are stress-free and anxiety-free. They are now free and ready to explore and enjoy every aspect of their lives without a care in the world, waking up refreshed and full of energy, peeing like a racehorse, and enjoying the stress and libido of a young man, adding years of good sex, and their confidence levels are holding high and strong since they don't have to deal with this frustrating problem anymore. People like Mark Goodman, 44 years old from Memphis, Tennessee. This stuff really works. As I write this, I'm sipping coffee, my 2nd cup this morning, without any concerns about extra bathroom visits. I've been on Ultra Prosta Fix about 2 weeks, and the changes have been incredible. I now sleep through the night and don't have to go to the bathroom continually. For years, I've been worried about going anywhere because of toilet availability. I can't think of the words, but it's been amazing for me. Even my wife is grateful. We can't keep our hands off each other. Or George Jackson, a 67-year-old from Salt Lake City, Utah, who says, I've been using this product for almost 2 weeks. I didn't notice much of a change in my condition in the beginning until one morning when I realized I reduced the number of trips to the bathroom and felt I completely emptied my bladder, which hadn't happened in years. Now the bathroom trips are done to 1 every night, but it's an improvement from 3 to 4 times every night, and I'm sure soon I won't be getting up in the middle of the night to use the toilet. Thanks a million. Or Kevin Walker, a 75-year-old from Memphis, Tennessee, who says, I'm 75 and took it only a few weeks for me to go from peeing every 2 hours, that's 4 times a night, to peeing only once a night, every 4 to 5 hours. I did notice improvements in my flow and frequency during the day after 1 or 2 weeks, but it was the reduced night trips that were a blessing for me. I find that taking the capsules in the morning has the greatest impact on my trips to the bathroom. It seems to me that the more tablets you take over time, the better the results. Or Jason Allen, a 54-year-old from Orlando, Florida, who says, ordered these for my elderly father, who is 81. He's been seeing his urologist for years and has always taken the meds he gave him up to the highest dose. He's had surgery as well. Nothing seemed to work till this amazing product. I was skeptical, especially at his age. This product works. He actually sleeps all night without having to get up and down half the night. He now has another concern. He constantly reminds me to order them each month. Not sure why urology doctors don't prescribe this. It works. Now, after hearing all this, you understand why this program was initially priced at $276. Sure, I could have easily done this and people would still line up to get this formula. The truth is, neither me nor Dr. Elijah are not here to make money. Both of us have made ourselves a good amount of money during our medical careers, but there is just one last thing I want to do before I do that. I want to help you and millions of men out there to break free from the prostate enlargement prison that's slowly taking over, turning into a nightmare. That's why I'm not going to ask you for $276 or even $176 for the program that has already helped 93,600 men just like you. In fact, today, while this website is still up, you have a one-time chance to get the clinically proven formula that shrinks your prostate and helps you regain your perfect urinary process in a matter of weeks for only $69 a bottle. And because I know how important it is to regain your urinary ability in life, I've managed to get our manufacturer to offer a big discount on the 6-bottle packages of Ultra Prosta Fix. This means that you can get it for only $49 per bottle and also get free shipping from us for as long as the supply lasts. Once Ultra Prosta Fix is out of stock, the discount is gone forever. So go ahead, select your package, and join the 97,700 men who, for so many times in their beautiful lives, have regained their perfect prostate functions. Now, tens of thousands of men are already living proof that Ultra Prosta Fix will give you back the perfect urinary tract and flow Mother Nature gave to you. 3 bottles of Ultra Prosta Fix will not only rid you from the prostate enlargement microbes, boost your peeing ability, but it will improve your sex life, eliminate bladder infections, and even strengthen your immune system. But there is a reason why 98% of our users choose the 6 bottles package. Once you go with the 6 bottles package, in just 6 months from now, you'll be able to completely shield yourself against any microbes that might threaten your body and keep your perfect prostate size for years to come. Which also means that Ultra Prosta Fix will act like a natural defense system against both long and short-term prostate degradation or enlargement, and much more. Now, if this sounds all right, look below now. You'll see 3 packages, 2 of them with the major discount I've managed to secure from our manufacturer. Select the one you most desire and hit the bottom below. Clinical trials have shown that 3 or 6 bottle ones are most recommended. Once you've secured your order, we'll immediately and discreetly ship Ultra Prosta Fix straight to your doorstep. Now, this program will do what nothing else could: shrink your prostate and get your urine flow back as you used to have it. And that may be a little shocking to you. I get it. After all, the prostate care giants have been preying on you ever since you first stepped foot in their offices. So let me change this right now. I want you to know that every single bottle of Ultra Prosta Fix comes with a solemn 60-day money-back guarantee. We'll give you a 100% refund, even if it's been 59 days. Give this all-natural supplement a try and escape this nightmare. Feel the joy of never having to worry that you might end up leaking in front of everyone or wear diapers. See how great it is to see that lovely look of your spouse every single morning after a perfect night. Become the man unaffected by this monstrous disease. Experience all this, and in 60 days, if you're not happy with the Ultra Prosta Fix, send me an email or call me, and I'll refund every single penny. No questions asked, no bureaucracy. You've got 2 full months to decide if Ultra Prosta Fix is the right thing for you, but you need to hurry. Dr. Elijah and I made a lot of enemies by posting this program online. Vicious pharmaceutical industry giants who woke up this morning and noticed their bank account balance was slimmer than yesterday. Snake prostate drug manufacturers who don't know what to do with their remaining inventory of cheap knockoff products. Each one of them wants this site off the internet. So the next time my phone rings and I'm forced to take this program down, you'll be on your own. But why would you give up on your only real chance you have to actually revive your prostate and urinary tract when you could join over 93,600 men in just a few weeks from now? When you have so little time to spend and so much to gain? Just imagine. No more sleepless nights with never-ending and exhausting trips to the toilet. No more disappointing looks on your wife's face when you're in the bedroom. No more feeling robbed of your manhood or feeling like a crippled shadow of yourself, one that could be drenched in a pool of urine at any moment. And no more painful catheters and complicated procedures. Imagine quickly being able to go into the bathroom, do your business, and get out in under a minute, or having improved libido and stamina from now on. Plus, imagine waking up in the morning free from anxiety and fatigue, regaining your vitality, sex drive, and endurance way beyond the very best days of your youth. And it all starts when you select your package below and hit the buy button now. It's time for you to make a choice. The decision you're about to make will decide the course of the rest of your life. You can choose to stop spending your money on the same old products in the market and hope in vain for a miracle to happen, when you already know that even though they may alleviate symptoms for a while, they do not treat the root cause of your prostate enhancement. Or you can take this small step now. Pick your package, hit the button below, and get control over your life again. You have the power to repair your perfect prostate, and it's only one click away. No more urinary tract infections. No more bladder stones. No more fear, pressure, or pain. You have the power to get your happiness back, and it costs close to nothing. especially when compared to the price you pay every time you visit your doctor. Not to mention the damage it has on every aspect of your life and your mind and body. This formula works for any type of prostate damage, in the early phases or more advanced, you may suffer from. Plus, you're protected by our 60-day no-questions-asked money-back guarantee. So go ahead and select your package now, and you can start being the person you've always wanted to be. It all starts now, with a single click. And it takes less than a minute. Do it now, and give Ultra Prosta Fix a chance.